welcome back to my lovely HP community, the 5D Collective, all of those who are learning how amazing it is to be in our time. So, when you're yourself, this is the part of mindfulness living and spiritually living and loving. Means that you're an inner child adult, okay? So, you're not pretending, you don't have disowned parts, shadow parts, none of that. You're healed and working with earned secure attachment. That way, we get to help you understand, if you're new, what self-empowerment is. The pretendos, they get to be Cuscos or go to, no, if they're pretendos, they're not doing therapy. So when we are empowered, this is the part of where we're our own beloved and we see the beloved in all. We know integrity. Some of us are also mystics again. And so with Jesus, Holy Spirit, I know what integrity is all about, and compassion and the confidence in our own magic swords and that connectivity. So our lovely herd comes together with those who are independent, conscious lovers here at HP, the 5D frequency. And when we meet spiritual narcolepsy, we don't tell them they're Lucifer or any like that. Nope. We know that they got broken promises, inconsistent families, Diego, whatever it is. There's a group for them that they can follow, but we won't be lecturing them, which is also why we are not going to feel that love and trust are fragile just because we've met in our lifetime. So as you meet in your lifetime people, when they're inconsistent, they don't know secure attachment, obviously, because otherwise they wouldn't be inconsistent. If they make promises that they break, again, now let's remember, all of us can be considered inconsistent and can break promises. I know I'm just as culpable of any of this, which is why you don't put yourself in a separate box, you put yourself in the same box. And we're not a box that is rigid. No, it's a flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable box. Integration of the brain. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel. With the acronyms, I get to learn about interpersonal neurobiology from him and a bunch more, and attachment trauma information. I'm also using our lovely channeled guidance messages. So some of our tarot oracle decks here, the shaman, I forget what the name of it is, but it's okay. You've seen the box a multitude of times. So again, you're beloved, others are beloved. Why? Because your inner child, she lives, he lives, they live, yeah. So your lower world, meaning the subconscious and conscious, and your conscious, you're one. That's that securely attached person. So we're going to again continue with the conversation in a minute as you rise above the fray and you're able to see that which you need to catch, that which you don't need to catch, what's going on down here. You're able to not only contain it, you don't project it, you're able to think and you're able to contain if you are connected to, some will call it consciousness, so you have a flow state, as neuroscientists would call it. For those of us who are also channelers, we will embody mental, emotional, physical mastery and be one with Akash. And with those of us who come with God, Holy Spirit, we also know that we have a direct communication, and that's something personal. We don't necessarily name or do any of that, but FYI. So I am very lucky as a person getting to share with you all the spirituality awakening journey for those of us who have the 5D body type or choose the 5D body type, which means moving into your restorative embodiment, choosing integration of the brain. So to own your core self, narrative, relational, soul self. So to get out of any and all shame, blame, fault, revenge, any and all attachment wounds, any and all of childhood trauma. It's all healable. Experts are talking about it all over the place, except for the ones who don't want to do it. So that's where once you're ready to do more emotions, it's because you're healed and you've reparented. And so you know healthy self-soothing, which is why you know how to be yourself. That's also why you know how to leave alone unhealthy self-soothing individuals when they show up. And you'll notice by those promises that get broken, by those inconsistent communication. They don't communicate, in fact, some at all. Others will project. Okay, the sweat lodge for you means that you're able to consistently take note of the wisdom that your body has with the wisdom of your mind. And to stand in that stillness and to shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. So, that lovely rattle, let me read. It's because you enjoy the inner pleasures of your being. And therefore, external pleasures and or external all is not really something you see as as Sadhguru says, rudimentary. It's not just rudimentary, it's that I navigate from my high, I'm in my prefrontal, I'm in an open heart, I'm not using any of that which is a lower frequency, I'm not into being in a lust fantasy stage or something that requires boxing gloves. I'm not looking for Tom and Jerry, Pinocchio. Okay, so the part about what secure attachment people know is that love is always easily and readily available to you. We also know that we won't judge someone's spiritual process by their behavior, thank you Sadhguru, and that the spiritual process is beyond the ways of the body and mind, but let's add the brain and the self. So a person can also use spirit, not spirit. You don't have to. See, this where when people want to give you spirituality with so much differentiation from what science explains, simplified is that when you own, but you have to own, observe, witness, narrate your entire soul, self, narrative, relational core. Your 0, 1, your 3 to 7, all the child parts, your 11, 12, and your flight 11, 14, 15, 16. No, flight 11, 12, fight 14, 15, 16. So it's also the internal family system model. So there's many different ways that the good therapist talk to you about it and inform you about it, and then you can heal. So owning your shadow, owning the disowned, not bringing them to us on screen, not re-traumatizing, not doing structural dissociation, okay? What you will notice if you're empowered by now, besides all that I just shared, and so that you meet people who don't have any awareness of who they are, and they will continue to live out their non-secure attachments ways, and in fact it's all karma, it's not dharma. Dharma can be done when you are the owner again of you, and so your emotional, mental, and physical plane are in the forefront. And that's why there's many different ways. Again, every person will explain it. If you're picky with words, and that tells me you're not empowered yet. Picky with words people are the people who are only doing logic. So they like it to be wrong or right, right and wrong, A, B, C, D, and they don't use therefore their right mode, which instead allows A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all to sit, and we're comfortable with the unknown. The people who are uncomfortable with an array of answers to a concept that is of spirituality or sciences when it comes to self-help, personal development. The person who doesn't actually have ease, use your human name, with the self. You want an identity. If you want an identity, that tells me you want to understand yourself. And if you want to understand yourself, then that's where the adult attachment interview, giving you the attachment category, but a good therapist, so that you can work yourself to earn secure attachment. And the people who instead weaponize these words and then they use it with each other, they obviously have really not effective therapists, because those therapists aren't teaching them, like Patrick Tiahan instead does, about how not to project their non-kind behavior. Okay, so with that being said, when you're a person that knows about unconditional love, I was a teenager when I learned about breaking promises. So like I said, I told myself, you're not going to be exempt. I'm sure people are going to think you've broken promises, and sometimes you will break them because you'll forget about something. And I don't have everything written down, but I'm pretty sure family too can have things to say, so inconsistencies, okay? So once again, you put yourself in a box. We're all imperfect, flawed in that box, not a fixed box. But then we are able to not fear rejection. So we're going to, as you get older, know, like with my teenage boyfriend, this is who I am, I'm not jealous, you don't own me, I don't own you. And eventually moving into open relationships and the solo poly journey for me. So being able to share that has not been something I have ever been afraid, meaning I know it's a sensitive topic. So yes, I know that there is the possibility, there was in the past, now that it's more talked about, more welcomed, and we have more empowered human beings out there, that's where I find it to be different. I find that there are plenty of smart and empowered men who do not find anything odd or negative with the polyamory community. That's when you're going to know people who are securely attached, because they're going to welcome the exchange. They also don't have characterological distinctions or judgments based on our ancient ancestors. So like, when they covered Elvis from his legs. Yeah. Now, I do want to also share there are those who are not completely healed. They go and have specific types of events, and they're all re traumatizing each other because they are actively in what is a visceral and codependent enmeshing type Tom and Jerry spiritual bypassers. They're bountiful. The bad therapist, I don't know how that one works, but there's also that, but that's already different because they got to practice. But obviously, we also know of when they talk to us about cults. So the best way for me to share with you all is if you can avoid using these identifiers, because it's not the words. Again, you'll know if you have people who care about others when they talk to you about good topics, all topics. They don't lock it up in a box. They don't make spirituality or sciences into a competition. They don't make their way of living in life a priority, and you have to do it that way. So you're going to know if you're able to be yourself. If you're not, then that's why therapists are important, because as Gabor Mate points out, your gut will not be good, as Patrick Tian points out, and that is exactly why I'm sharing this, because I'm a responsible and empowered mystic and spiritual person. When I plan the events in the future, there's a whole bunch of things I'm organizing so that I can ensure the mental health, hygiene, and safety of anyone who comes around, because people disregard the importance of getting to know this. And mindfulness is where, in awareness, the maximum uncertainty, as Dr. Daniel Siegel has taught me, comes up. This is where I got a person who's unaware that they got alters. I might have a person who gets triggered. And that is when I know personally how to handle that situation, but an expert is still an expert compared to one that is informed and educated because we care. So you will know of people who care about what they're doing when you find that they collaborate with more, and when they don't, bring you all or nothing. Now, I will know that the ones who don't like the in between, meaning I give you a lot of choices, they are the ones who are actually looking for rigid, closed, and that's a key sign to me that you're not an independent thinker, and that you don't have self-empowerment at all, and that therefore you want to go to a good therapist so you can become your own thinker, because otherwise you're just a copycat, you're just a lost boy, you're just a Peter Pan, you're just pretending. But furthermore, you're vulnerable to any person who can wield their mouth to their volition in a very specific way and capture, not being captured per se, because what you'll also notice is, again, Tom and Jerry hang out together. Pinocchio on that island, he keeps going. So this is exactly why it isn't the 7 and 14 charming who pull the wool over the eyes. No, the people who are copying Peter Pan don't want to hear the truth about going to get their trauma healed. They want the narrative. They want to be a part of the 144,000, the twin flame, whatever it is. They want the identity. They want to say, I have this, you can't do it, and you can't do it to me, you can't. So when this is where it wasn't just because of social media. People think it exaggerated. No, it put in the forefront that which we already had. I can remember all of my teenage friends and all of that which I saw, and I don't see anything different. The only difference is I now know why the grown-ups didn't grow up, is their teenagers ruling them. Now they have an explanation for how to become a better version of their true self and get out of their fake self. They don't want it because they don't like making this soft. When I hear people, it's soft. What's soft? Soft what? Learning how to be in your ventral vagal soft is soft. It's your health. So you know what? It's better to say, I don't want to be in my ventral vagal state. I don't want to be healthy in my restorative. I would rather continue to be in my modulated, because I really find it comfortable to be in my sympathetic. That is when I'm going to be like, okay, you're making a conscious choice based on your preference of this, which is based on you being taught. Okay, so like, I want to be in my bad mood. Good for you. Be in your bad mood, okay? That's the difference of what I'm going to say. Somebody who's learning the information versus just mouthing it. But again, love and trust. It doesn't get broken because of people who come in and out of our lives. It gets the capacity for you to promise to love, to re-promise to trust. And then really what it is for people who don't know how to love, you get to be that difference that might change what they get to bring to the table. If they want to, they'll become self-aware, accountable, regulating. Also, you have the capacity to create resiliency. So unlike the Zen Master's Laundry, you get to self-attune, regulate, and allow you to grow the depth of the relationship with your emotional plane. There are people who go to therapy and they call it post-traumatic growth. So that's why there's the sciences area that tell you about post-traumatic growth. Then there's those of us who talk about it as spiritually expanding, or really just expanding your mind. Because to me, all of what I talked to today has been given. I've gotten more to say, but it's the same basic principle. Be yourself. I know how. Why can't you? Yes, you can. And if you can't, I know why. I know it's your 1-year-old and 3-year-old, and there's good therapists, and then we can continue. So true spirituality begins to be a part of your journey when you have awakened to your inner child and you've become participant to allow her, he, they to be loved by you and your lower world, your subconscious, not to be nightmare. And for you to be able to not be haunted by the ghosts of your past, but to rise like an eagle, if you are connected, to know that you are a child of the heart of the sky, like we all are. And that's why to be able to sit within yourself and your mind with the inner growth mindset, and to also sit in the silence of bliss and to shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. So we take a leap of faith with people, which is why we're not like, oh my God, now that they lied to me, I won't ever trust again. No, it's we learn how to understand, again, the healthy self-worth people. Come on over. And that's why it's a beautiful time to be here, because we're all a lot more empowered with good mental health professionals, and spirituality isn't going anywhere, not at least now. And the mystics in the 5D plane, we're going to get to make fun of the 4D plane. They're going to get to make fun of us. We're going to get to keep making fun of, conspiracies and science is wanting to disprove reality and the moon and the earth is flat. You name it. We're going to keep on having a good time. So stop on by. We might have another episode. If not, we'll be back again soon. Thank you again. Like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. If you know someone who is interested in mindfulness, living, and loving, send them our way. If you know that they do love to love and love to live and love to laugh and love to learn and love to not cast stones. Okay, so no judgment. We love all people. We don't cast stones because we never walked one day in their shoe. Like Robert Sapolsky shares with Determined, we know that there is this very sad truth, and some people, they won't want that healing stuff. It's not our business because it's not our body. And their trauma charges are really painful, so we want to focus on those laws. We want to come together to try and get that which is, secure attachment into the world, more safe haven, secure base. But we want to create independent thinkers and feelers. That's what's going to enable us to know that they can be their own jaguar. They can regulate their nervous system. They can engage in situations. Again, the world is made thanks to us, and us being together, and us being a frequency of love supports. For as silly as it may sound, the more of us who can walk a walk and talk a talk like Jesus taught me, the more of us who can walk a walk and talk a talk like Sadhguru is teaching people, or Dr. Daniel Siegel, or Dr. Daniel Fox, Bessel van der Kolk. These are the people that I share. God taught me too, but other people use God's name in a different way. So again, remembering that we're all from different places, but if we are of the 5D frequency, we want one thing, and we want safe haven, secure base. We want heaven. We want harmony. We want ease. We want the world. It's a small world after all to get along, and we know it can be done because it can be done. It always has been. It will continue to be so. We just had a little transformation. We got digital, and I was like, okay, that's really all that happened. We had the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and now we're digital. Some people are afraid of the AI. I'm not afraid of the AI, but I'm an online marketer and entrepreneur, so I'm technologically open to all that is, and that's for another episode. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by again. See you soon.